If I had to do it all over again, how would I start a business in 2025, or how would I pivot a business in 2025? All right, that's what this video is all about. How would I start or pivot a business in 2025? Because things have changed, right? Things have changed in the last couple of years, and I would do things just a little bit differently. And so much has stayed the same. Look, if you want to be in business and you want to be a business owner, or you believe you are already in business, if you don't have buyers, you don't have a business. This is why I say, if you want to create a business, or if you want to pivot a business and you want it to be successful, you have got to have a buyer's mindset. All right, at the outset of this video, let me ask you one other simple question. And I'm going to put on my sort of my Captain Obvious hat. How would you like to build a business and scale a business without selling? All right, now it may sound crazy and it may sound obvious, but you know what? In my years and years of experience, I think one thing I can say is definitely true about entrepreneurs that I've worked with, invested in, and partnered with. Many of them think sell or sale is a four-letter word that ranks up there with all the rest of them. Sell or sale. And I'm here to tell you, you can actually build a huge business and a huge scalable business without selling. All right, here's what I mean by that. What you need to do is you need to create an environment where people have an opportunity to buy. Hey, a quick but super valuable interruption. I hope you're getting a ton out of this video. We'll get back to it in just a moment. But I wanted to let you in on something that makes this video and all my other videos way better. It's called the Answer Zone, and it's totally free. The Answer Zone is my free, live, open forum where you can bring all your questions, whether it's something sparked by this video or anything else you're working on in your business. No fluff, no pitch, and no cost. Just real answers to help you move forward faster. I do these sessions every week, and all you have to do is sign up, and you'll be notified ahead of time of the exact day and time of the next one. Hey, I know firsthand that entrepreneurship can feel kind of lonely sometimes, but it doesn't have to be. The link just popped up on the screen, and it's also waiting for you down below in the description. Come join us on the Answer Zone. Now, let's get back to it. Today, what I'm going to be talking to you about is the first step in my framework. I have a framework. It's called the Buyers Framework, and it's a super simple, scalable business solution. Buyers is an acronym for me, B-U-Y-E-R-S. And today I'm going to talk about the first step, the B, in the Buyers Framework and the acronym. And the B stands for breaking your bias. Okay, let me tell you what I mean by breaking your bias. What I see, it all starts with what I oftentimes call the great idea trap. Many startup entrepreneurs, and actually even more seasoned, mature entrepreneurs, are doing things and creating things because they believe it's a great idea. Now, don't get me wrong. Just about every successful business on the planet throughout the history of business has started with a great idea. But it hasn't been built and it hasn't become successful if the entrepreneur or the founders stuck with the idea of it being a great idea. In other words, they didn't parallel it or bring it into what the world actually wants. And this is what I mean by you've got to create an environment where you have buyers. When you create an environment where you have buyers, you no longer need to actually sell. So let's get into it a little bit more. Breaking that bias, the great idea trap. So many entrepreneurs start out, I got this great idea. This is what the world needs. And then the second thing they do, which compounds that problem, is they start to work on and spend their time and their effort on things that don't bring them down the path towards generating or creating new buyers. What they do is they spend a lot of time figuring out, what's my corporate structure going to be? Am I going to have an LLC? Am I going to have a C Corp? Am I going to have an S Corp? What's my web presence going to look like? I need a website. I need a website that has all of these different menu items on it. It needs to say about us. It needs to have a contact me. It needs to have my products on it. All of that is great and all of that is useful. And I'm not saying that you're not going to do that at some point in time. But if you are starting a business or if you are scaling a business and need to pivot your business because it's not working the way you want it to, you have to put that stuff on the back burner. And you have to spend more time figuring out who your buyers are and what they want. Okay? This is so, so important. And when you can do that, when you can A, figure out who your buyers are, and B, figure out more specifically what they want, and C, here's the secret sauce, understand from them what it is that they want so that you can start to use their own words in all of your materials. Then all of this other stuff makes so much more sense. Your corporate structure makes more sense. These are my buyers. This is how I'm going to approach them. This is what they want. This is the product or service I'm going to deliver to them. Does it make more sense for that to be structured around an LLC or a C Corp or an S Corp? This is my website. Do I need a multi-page website? Or based upon my buyers and what they want and how I'm going to deliver that to them, do I simply just need a landing page or a sales page? When you can answer these questions up front, everything becomes so much easier. All right? So there's kind of 3 steps that I like to talk about in terms of breaking the bias. The first we've just talked about. Let go of those assumptions. And what I mean by that is the assumption that you know what the world needs. Because I'm here to tell you, here's a truth and here's a Dellism. The world does not buy what it needs typically. It typically buys what it wants, or it buys what it believes can get it what it wants, right? Never forget that. You know, and you're probably right, okay? I'm going to give you totally the benefit of the doubt and say that you are probably 100% right that what you are offering, your great product or service based upon your great idea, is something that the world needs. But we can't talk to them that way. We can't tell them what they need. We have to tell them, we have to sort of parallel with them, bring them on the same side of the table with us, and let them see that we know what they want and that we have something that can get them there. That's the first thing, letting go of those assumptions that we know exactly what they need. The second one is you need to start listening before you start telling. Now, there's no question we're going to get to the point where we're telling, but we need to listen first. And this goes back to the other point that I made about understanding and hearing from your customers what it is that they want and how they are phrasing that. Because if we can put it back to them, if we can, quote unquote, tell them in their own words, now we're starting to create an environment for buyers. All right, so we need to listen first before we tell. And then the third piece I just want to hammer in because it's so important. We need to realize and understand that no one wants necessarily what they need. They want what they want.